Hi, this is Brian Wicklund with Garfield Schwartz. I'm here in town in Maitland, Florida, which is a suburb of Orlando. That's where our main office is. We made it through the hurricane okay. We got lucky. Out there for people that didn't get so lucky, I'm thinking about you and understand the situation because, like I said, it was a rough night, that hurricane, and then the aftermath is usually even worse than the hurricane itself. So try to be safe out there, and I'm thinking about you. At this point in time, I wanted to touch base with my Defense Base Act potential clients out there that are contractors overseas. I kind of took for granted this fact that it was kind of brought to my attention recently. The way I can explain it basically is that under state workers' compensation laws in the United States, the employer, namely I'm an employer, so I have to abide by that, has to set up notices, usually in the lunchroom or the break room or something like that, that tells you what your rights are if you get injured on the job. And it's usually a big sheet of paper that's posted on the walls that tells you what your rights are. Unfortunately, overseas, the employers don't have to put anything to show you what your rights are if you're injured on the job there. Even if, in fact, I actually had to try to do that at some embassies and some bases, and they immediately get ripped down somehow. So what I'm telling you is I'm under the impression, I think it's true, that the vast majority of people that get injured overseas, especially people in countries that are third country nationals that don't necessarily speak the language very well and that are from other countries besides America, have no earthly idea that they have benefits under the Defense Base Act, which is a federal law. And no one's going to tell you that. That's the problem. Like I said, unlike in the United States, they don't have to post notices and they don't really have to tell you much of what your rights are. A lot of people call me and say, I got injured and my employer just said, sorry about that, and we'll pay for your flight home. And that's it. Unfortunately, some of the clients that don't understand, they just go home and they think, oh, I got injured, that's, I have to move on. But there are all kinds of rights under this act that you can use to your benefit, which are to the benefit of you if you're injured overseas. And most of my clients these days are injured overseas in combat zones like Iraq and Afghanistan. But there are several, maybe 10 other countries where I have clients that reside that have been injured. The best way to understand what your rights are is if you're injured, you go to your supervisor. If they don't actually tell you what your rights are and exactly, you don't know what you're asking, like, what do I do? The best thing to do is look on the internet. Put down Defense Base Act or Overseas Contractors Injured and see what pops up, and contact an attorney. It's free for me per se. I believe that most of my colleagues agree that these types of consultations are free, and sooner or later down the line we would be paid by the insurance company separately from anything that you would be charged. So don't be afraid to contact someone to see what your rights are. Other than that, you go to ask to talk to someone in Human Resources, ask if there is insurance in place for your injury, and hopefully they'll give you the information you need. If they don't, like I said, you're going to have to be proactive and understand from the get-go that you have rights under the Defense Base Act. If you're under a government contract and you're working overseas, they have to have that insurance in place before they can get the contract from the government. So it is in place regardless of what they might tell you. What your benefits might be under that law are if it's addressed, and there might be some fights involved, but sooner or later, if your case is accepted, you'll receive compensation benefits, which are 2/3 of your average weekly wage, but there's also a maximum weekly stipend. But at least you can get paid until your case is adjudicated and things in the controversies are, get ironed out, whether that's before a judge at a hearing or whether that's at a settlement or a mediation down the line. You will get those benefits, and you don't have to wait like other cases, like personal injury cases and things. You have to wait for your day in court. You could be paid every 2 weeks a stipend until these things are adjudicated, if we can get the insurance company to agree that it's work-related injury. You also get your medical treatment paid for. If the case, like I said, if it gets sent to the Department of Labor and your case is accepted, they have to pay for your medical treatment with a doctor of your own choosing, preferably when you get back home and you can find a doctor in the United States that will be able to help you take care of your injuries that we would trust, that would do the right thing. Cases sometimes last a couple of years. Cases sometimes last 6 months, maybe 2 months. It all depends on the factual scenario and whether your company is willing to listen and understand that you were injured overseas. But the first process is to understand what you're going through and to understand what channels you have to try to get your case assigned to the Department of Labor saying, yes, I do have a work-related injury under the Defense-Based Act. That's the first step. I hope that I was of some help. Like I said, a lot of companies out there don't share this information and don't tell you what your rights are necessarily. Whether they just don't have the wherewithal. Some people don't. Some companies don't even understand the process. Some companies do it on purpose, and some companies just simply file the paperwork and you're good to go. But the chances of that happening are, pot luck. You have no idea. So hopefully I was of some use. Like I said, you could always call our office 24 hours a day or email us at our website, and we will address your situation and tell you what to do from here, whether or not you hire us or not. We'll lead you in the right direction, at least to get your claim filed on time and to get something rolling. And then again, of course, if they deny your claim or they deny certain medical treatments, then it's always good to have an attorney on hand to know when to file the documents and when to get hearings set and when to go forward and fight for you and for your rights that you deserve. Again, this is Brian Wicklund with Garfinkel Schwartz. I appreciate your time. Thanks for listening. Take care.